You've heard me talking about Sanki postbiotics. I didn't want to steal too much thunder from Alejandro. He has flown all the way over from Mexico to be here. So I really, really appreciate it. He's been a superstar. He's now become a good friend. He's very, very impressive. Alejandro López Tello, thank you. Please come and tell us all about Sanki.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hello. How are you? I'm honored and thrilled to be here this day, and I would like to share some of our research and what we have been doing for decades now, more than 3 decades around microbiome, microbiota, and clinical trials in vivo. The company that I'm representing was founded before I partnered with them, and the name of that company is Major In Vivo Clinical Trials. That company started in France in 2001, and they started doing research with clinical trials in vivo, and then I partnered with them in 2009. So I will share a little bit about the story, but everything started even before 2001. And maybe you have heard about the blue zones. These are areas on this planet that have people living there that go beyond the lifespan averages that are normal, let's say, on this planet. The average lifespan today in the world is 74 years. 74. So on these areas, 2 in America, 2 in Europe, 1 in Asia, there are many centenarians, people that go beyond 100 and that are still very healthy. So what's going on with them? What's happening with them? Is their food, their lifestyle, their habits, their psychology, their mindset? Do they exercise daily? So that's what we asked many years ago, even before this millennium started. So as you know, these blue zones, maybe you have heard of them, are Loma Linda, California, Nicoya, Costa Rica, Sardinia, Italy, Icaria, Greece, Okinawa, Japan. And the genesis of all these projects started in 1997. That was the starting point, where we were inspired by successful, what we call successful longevity models. As Dr. Artis was saying, natural selection, evolution. What's going on with them? Why are they so strong? Why can they live so long? So in Okinawa, this very small island in the south of the main island of Japan, in 1997, we started this secret study of Centenarians' Graceful Longevity Secret Study. That's how we called it. And we studied, of course, at the beginning, their lifestyles, diets, attitudes, etc. And we thought initially that we could find answers there. We found that these centenarians were generally optimistic, easygoing. Of course, they enjoyed what we call good food. But amazingly enough, 8 out of 26 were smokers. They have been smoking nicotine. Yeah. Right. 8 out of 26 were smokers. So we said, is smoking had smoke, cigarettes have something to do with their longevity? Because we already have some preconceived ideas around health, well-being, longevity. And maybe we think it's just about having fruits, vegetables, working out every single day. And we didn't find any correlation with those ideas, with those concepts around health that we have heard since we were very little. So we moved forward, and we concluded in 1998, almost 30 years ago, that these centenarians had very controlled cellular inflammation and controlled oxidative stress. Here is my partner, Dr. Brigitte Deas, that went to live there. He's a French scientist. And we started digging deeper because there was no pattern in the foods, in the smoking or not smoking, on their lifestyle. And we moved forward. So we started collecting the feces of these centenarians. And we extracted the DNA of the microbiota from these amazing people, super healthy humans. We compared it with a database, and then we started profiling their microbiomes. At the same time, we started extracting the metabolites from these samples. We analyzed them through a mass spectrometer. And then we profiled the metabolome as well. And we started correlating this with the gene expression. And that's where we started finding some answers. In 1999, we concluded that the gut microbiota played an invisible role on this longevity. And we confirmed this by measuring the metabolites, the strains of the bacteria from the skin, the feces of these centenarians, and correlating them with the gene expression. So we have been working on analyzing these microbiomes of these people, the metabolites that they produce, and the genes that are expressed because of these microorganisms. These invisible bugs that are living with us, that are really important for us, and that maybe we think they are bad for us. So we started all this research before many other companies or many other scientists did. What we found since 1999 in a project that we decided to call Reverse 100 Project, because we asked this question: what if we could reverse engineer longevity? What if we can biomimic what is naturally occurring in these zones where these super healthy people are living? So we started analyzing the microbiota, these bacteria, and different strains of bacteria in different population groups: infants, adults, elderly people, semi-centenarians, and centenarians. And instead of approaching the health issue to solution model, we approached it in an optimum health model to perfect homeostasis body. So from the hundreds of strains that we have, because we have more than 500 strains of different bacteria in our guts, more than 500 strains, not 20, not 50, but hundreds of them. And from those hundreds, we identified 30 strains of what we call the super bacteria, super strong bacteria. We started talking not as good or bad bacteria, but strong versus weak microbiomes. And basically, we concluded that these centenarians had very strong microbiomes that were coming from these super bacteria. Not all of them had these 30 different strains, but they had an important percentage of these 30. And that's how we started having some conclusions. And that's why these centenarians lived to more than 100 years. As you can see, here we're showing some of these names. Names of some bacteria that maybe you have heard, like, let me see, Rosoburia, or Prevotelaceae, or Mogibacteria, Anaeropsis, Akkermansia, among others. So then we said, okay, the solution is working with probiotics. Let's start studying these bacteria. What's going on with them? And let's try doing fecal transplants since 2000. So we tried developing probiotics from these super bacteria strains. So we gave the host pills, liquids, and tried to do transplants, fecal transplants. And the conclusion was that this model was impossible to replicate and measure in each person. Why? Because all these environmental factors of the new host gut are not the same as the original conditions, meaning we were extracting bacteria from a centenarian and then trying to use the same bacteria into another person. And that didn't work because it's a pretty dynamic system. Imagine hundreds of bacteria that have lived with you almost all your life. Because as Dr. Ardes was saying, it's contagious. Bacteria is contagious. How did you get contaminated? Of course, it's not a contamination from these bacteria. From your mother. Maybe you were breastfed. Maybe you touched something when you were crawling as a baby. Maybe you started licking your fingers with all these bacteria from your home. So this initial microbiome, all this microbiota, started growing within your guts since you were a newborn child. And an important percentage of that microbiota is formed in your first 7 years of age. And maybe we have thought that we can change it. And a lot of scientists today in 2025 are trying to do that. We already confirmed that it's not working. Many years ago, 25 years ago, we confirmed that if we try to modify the gut microbiota, it's impossible. It's really difficult because you have hundreds of different strains living together, interacting, and suddenly you have something from the outside, coming from the outside. A specific strain of a specific product that has a specific probiotic. What happens with all the other strains? In the first 2-3 weeks, they accept this new strain that is coming from the outside. However, some weeks after, they notice that this is coming from the outside and they start taking action, like evolution. They don't like something that is coming from the outside. So we confirmed, in our case, with all these studies, all these clinical in vivo trials, that this model was impossible to replicate, meaning we were trying to replicate the gut microbiota of a centenarian using these super strong bacteria strains. And today, there are many products that are selling, let's say, Akkermansia probiotics. If you're just taking one strain, it's difficult to sustain it in the long term because we were focused on longevity, not specific conditions for the short term. Our aim, our purpose is to extend people's lives in a healthy way. That's the purpose. How can we live to more than 90 to more than 100 years, but in perfect, healthy conditions as centenarians. So we moved forward. We confirmed that this was not a model that we could replicate. And we moved to the metabolites. In 2001, we moved to a metabolite-based solution, developing patented biomimetic fermentation technologies with co-cultures of strains, meaning we used many different strains at the same time. And we started understanding what is called the quorum sensing of these microbes. There's a way of communication. These bacteria release molecules, and these molecules are used to communicate, not only between them, but between our genes and these bacteria. This quorum sensing is really important for our health. And dysbiosis, meaning this imbalance of the microbiota inside your guts, can create the wrong communication, the wrong quorum sensing. So we found that if we could co-culture these strains, we could start creating the right quorum sensing between these different bacteria. We also started using different audio frequencies that could create a vibration that promoted the fermentation of these superbacteria. And we tried to reproduce the human gut conditions. This is an image of one of our bioreactors. To get to this level took us more than 10 years to find reactors that have been built in-house that could reproduce the conditions of our human gut. The end result, we started producing metabolites with high bioavailability and, most important, gene expression activation. That's what we were looking for. And we have, of course, proven all of this in vivo clinical trials. So what is this microbiota? Maybe you have heard of it. This human body is a huge community of microorganisms, bacteria, fungi, viruses. More than 1,000 species of microorganisms on our skin, inside our guts, inside our mouth, our eyes, our ears, kidneys, lungs. 2.5 pounds of our weight are mainly bacteria. 2.5 pounds of your weight are bacteria. 10 times more microbes than human cells. So who are we? Genetically speaking, we're more bacteria than human beings. 8 million. And there are different numbers. There are other papers that say that we have more than 20 million different genes from bacteria. So imagine the importance of all these bacteria and all these bugs inside us. They are unique depending on the location of the body. They are not the same on your skin than in your gut, for example. And they generally have a mutually beneficial relationship with our human cells. That's the interesting part. So we started digging deeper. And of course, first we analyzed the type of probiotics, the bacteria that have been used for decades to produce milk, to produce yogurt, to produce beer, wine, different fermented products. Those bacteria are what we consider very weak bacteria. They are coming also from yeast, and we just talked about yeast. So the biggest probiotic companies in the world, by the way, use these bacteria coming from milk. They are weak, sensitive to pH, and are very unstable when introduced to a new host environment. And that's what we confirmed in these previous studies. So we got out of here and we started studying what we call already successful longevity models, like a millennium tree, an olive tree of 2,000 years. How can an olive tree live 2,000 years? What's going on with that tree? Or a jellyfish, the Turritopsis dohrnii, the immortal jellyfish, that can live hundreds of years in the ocean. What is common on these living organisms that we didn't know of? So we started doing a lot of research on this type of organisms that were really healthy, that were kind of immortal. And we confirmed that a lot of the super bacteria that we found inside the guts of centenarians are also present in these organisms. That's where we found a pattern, and we confirmed that we were on the right way, on the right track. So when we started confirming all of this, we started developing technology after technology after technology. Now we have dozens of patents, dozens of active ingredients that can be used in thousands of different products. However, we're just beginning because there is a huge opportunity to change our gene expression, basically, through the use of postbiotics, what we call postbiotics. So how do we develop a new technology? Well, first we start with the bioprospection. We collect the microbiota, we sample it, we isolate it and select it. We do the DNA extraction, we do the RNA sequencing, and we do the analysis of the bacterial community to select the specific strains that we're going to use to develop a specific technology. As a second step, we characterize the microbiota. With the selected microbiota, we start in small batches. We profile the metabolome, meaning the combination of different metabolites that these bacteria in these small batches are producing. Then we test the gene expression, and then we validate it in clinical trials done in vivo in human beings. And then we develop the application. That's how we work today, and that's how we have been obtaining many different patents from many different plants. Basically, everything is coming from plants and from the strains of these superbacteria. This is how our fermentation tanks look, our bioreactors. We have manufacturing plants in Japan, France, and now in Spain. As I was telling you, this took us 10 years to engineer, because to work in small batches is easy, but then to scale it up has taken us a lot of time. Since 2000, we have been working on how to scale this up, and now we have found, through Japanese engineers, chemical engineers, and other types of engineers, we have found the solution, of course, now many years ago, and we're growing our manufacturing plants because the whole process is owned by us, is patented by us, and we can only manufacture this on our own manufacturing plants. What do we control? Basically, these 5 variables. First, the vibration. If you enter into one of our manufacturing plants, you will listen to specific vibrations. Actually, those vibrations are the vibrations that are felt by the bacteria when they are inside our guts. So we have identified those vibrations, and we have replicated that in our manufacturing plant. So there's music that is being played during the bacterial growth inside those reactors. The time of the fermentation is 5 days, not 5 hours, 5 days. It's very slow. To accurately control the process of the metabolite development. The temperature, which is very difficult to control in a fermentation process, is controlled at 37 Celsius degrees, which is the temperature of the human body. So at 37 Celsius degrees, we do all this fermentation. The volumes are not so big, 9-liter volumes, replicating or simulating the human digestive system. And usually we use around 16 different strains of normal bacteria and 35 strains of superbacteria to multiculture. This is key. This is part of the secret. How do we do it? How can we have all these, not 5 different strains, but more than 15 different strains together in a reactor that is controlled in the temperature, the vibration, the music, all these elements to basically biomimetic the human digestive system. That's what we have done. And that's how our evolution of the technology has been moving forward. The end result, hundreds of different metabolites per active ingredient. Usually we obtain between 200 to 500 different metabolites or postbiotics in each active ingredient. So it's very interesting because when you see basically the food supplement industry, the dietary supplements, it's about one ingredient, one key ingredient, or 3 or 5 ingredients, let's say. We have these, and this. This is good for this is good for that. And of course they are good for that. But in our case, our postbiotics are hundreds of them. And that's what each active ingredient has. But the way we report it is quite easy. It's olive leaf extract, rosemary leaf extract, black beans, cocoa beans. We don't need to report the postbiotics because these are the end molecules. So in order to obtain these amounts of postbiotics, we also control the farms. They are owned by us because we have found that the bacteria, these endophytes that live on these plants, are also key for the combination of postbiotics that we want to obtain. So we have analyzed some of these endophytes, this soil microbiota, like the Acidobacteria gaiella, Nitrospiraceae, and Dongia, that if they are present in high abundances, they have a positive impact on the polyphenols that are obtained from these plants. Actually, we have also found that if we can collect the harvest with full moon, it's completely different than with half moon or with no moon at all. So all this technology is obtained from the plants, and the connection that these bacteria in the soil have on the quality of the substances that we need in order to be healthy. So basically we have concluded that the plantations are really important for the development of all this technology and for the success of the benefits of the products that we develop. What makes our product unique? Well, from the market average dairy and yeast companies, there are a few of them in the world, but there are starting to be. These companies are obtaining around 26, 30, let's say, different metabolites from their batches or their production plants. We usually obtain, as I was telling you, hundreds of different metabolites that are perfectly profiled from the Human Metabolome Technologies company. So this is just an example of all the postbiotics that come in each one of the ingredients. And these are some images of the plantations. We have plantations in Spain. This is an amazing place. It's not so far from here, in Alicante, southeast of Spain. And we're growing there figs, almonds, pomegranate, of course, olive trees. We have hundreds, around 800 olive trees in the plantation. It's an amazing place. When we bought the land 11 years ago, the place was really arid. It doesn't rain at all. It's completely different from here. In that place, in Alicante, Spain, there's no rain. Maybe you would like to live there. I don't know. There's no rain at all. So the conditions are pretty harsh for the plants. And after 11 years of being there, the plants, all the vegetation, all the environment has changed completely, because we're also using these postbiotics in the agriculture for all these farm that is becoming a Garden of Eden, because we are changing. The Spaniards are really impressed of what's going on, because they initially thought that we were going to sell pomegranate juice or olive oil, which is those two are the main products in that area. They are mainly producers of olive oil and pomegranate juice. And we found, we have shown them that we're not doing that, of course. So these olive trees have grown in a splendid way. Here are some images of these olive trees. As I was saying, we have more than 800 of them, 800 trees, olive trees. From these leaves, we obtain one of the active ingredients, or two basically, that we're using through the Sanki company and through the Sanki products that I will explain further. The interesting part here is that we transplanted 8 millennium trees that are 1,500 years old, 2,000 years old, from other parts of Spain. We found them, we bought them, and we transplanted them. And you may be asking why? Why did you do it? And the answer is because of the bacteria that we found in the roots of these trees, on the trunks of these trees, on the branches. We have been doing a lot of research around, as I was saying, all these super bacteria that we have found in these very successful longevity organisms like a millennium olive tree. So below the ground, here in this picture you cannot see this millennium tree. We have 8 of them, but below the ground, all these bacteria, through quorum sensing, are communicating. They are sharing information. And they are making all these trees super healthy. Even though they are just 11 years old, they are super healthy. And they are great for our fermentation process. We can only obtain the level of metabolites or postbiotics from our own plantations because of this. because we're controlling all the conditions. Because now we know that in our plantation we have the strains of these super bacteria. That's the difference between any other plantation on Earth. And this is just an example of what we're doing in Spain. It's a very big place, and it's about to be open for visitors, for VIP guests. You can even stay in the plantation. We have built a new manufacturing plant, a 6-story manufacturing plant, where on the upper level there are some rooms for VIP guests to have. The concept is that you will be able to be connected with all these bacteria, with all these super bacteria environment, super bacteria ecosystem that is truly, truly amazing for your health. So that's part of what we're doing right away. We also have plantations in Bhutan for turmeric, which is really amazing, an amazing plant as well. Sugarcane, Okinawa, Japan, cacao in Mexico. Cacao has also has amazing properties. This cacao is coming from endemic plants in the Soconusco area, southeast of Mexico. And these are some images of the fermentation factories and the Japanese scientists, the French scientists, and what we're working every single day. The labs. So, how did I get connected to all of this? Well, in 2010, I launched this company named Sanki. Sanki means sun, respect, ki, spiritual energy in Japanese. Sanki, respect for spiritual energy. And after a long search, I'm a chemical engineer. I have always been super excited and super connected to innovation. I have started other companies around innovation. And in 2009, October to be specific, I met with this French amazing scientist, Dr. Brigitte Ideas. He's my partner today. And in that first meeting, I showed him what I was doing. I showed him the 90 different products that I had in the market. You know, multivitamins, multiminerals, protein shakes, powders of different vegetables, probiotics. And he asked me one question: what is your vision? Where do you want to be in the next 10 years? And I said, I want to grow an international company to serve the people, because I know now that I want to serve humanity, and that this is my purpose in life. This is my passion. I've been looking for technology all my life. I've been trying to find it, but seriously, I haven't found anything truly innovative. And he was inside my office through another connection, and he said, well, we have been working for more than 30 years in longevity, and we have developed some patented technologies, and we are being very successful in Japan. Have you ever been in Japan? And I said, no. Well, the life expectancy in Japan is the highest on Earth. It's the most successful health model that I know of, and that's why I decided to move to Japan. Because I already knew when I met him in 2009 that he was living in Tokyo, and I was questioning, why is a French scientist living in Tokyo? And there was the answer. So he said, maybe you could visit me. You're welcome to visit me in Japan. He gave me his business card, like a Japanese. Maybe you have done business with Japanese, and that's how they do it. And he left. I have been working for 7 years in another company with different products. Of course, I convinced myself that they were the best on Earth. And suddenly there was a French scientist inside my office saying, you should go visit me in Japan. What should I do? maybe I should be there. And I took the decision right away. I bought a flight exactly that same day that I met him, and 3 days after I was arriving to Japan, to Tokyo for the first time in my life. And that trip changed my life forever. That trip changed my whole vision of what was epigenetics, postbiotics, longevity. I had no clue that this existed. And since then we have been partners, and we launched this company with no marketing, not too much money, and the company has grown 15 years after to be here, and I feel honored to be here with you. And thank you, Alistair, for believing and for inviting me here this day. So our purpose is precisely what I was saying, to extend people's lives in a healthy way. These are our products. We don't have many, just 4 products. All of them contain postbiotics. And the first product that I launched when I started the company in 2010 was Belash. The postbiotics basically come from rosemary leaves, olive leaves, and spirulina, blue spirulina. When I launched this product, I didn't know what was going to happen. I just launched it. I believed in this scientist. I did no marketing. And I started in an event like this. So the people started having amazing results, testimonials, big changes. And this company started to grow organically. So I was really amazed with the benefits that the product started having with all these different people, patients, people that were healthy, unhealthy. And in conclusion, we confirmed that the product boosts the cellular energy, providing the postbiotics that help protect and restore mitochondria. Actually, the product boosts autophagy. We'll have clinical trials that prove that. We have measured the epigenetics. By the way, your mitochondria has its own DNA. Each cell, Dr. Artis was talking about this yesterday, I think. We have thousands, hundreds and thousands of mitochondria inside each human cell, depending on the organ. So we have between 500 to 2,000 different 2,000 mitochondria inside each human cell. So the product reactivates the mitochondria autophagy, which is the capacity of the mitochondria to eliminate the damaged mitochondria and restore itself, create homeostasis. It aids in reducing inflammation, improves microcirculation, and we can prove that. After just 15 minutes of the intake of the product through a microscope, a microscope that can be bought easily online, you can see the before and after of your microvessels and how the blood flow changes just in 15 minutes. And we have a lot of videos about that as well. And we reactivate the natural antioxidant system with this product, meaning that we activate the superoxide dismutase enzyme, the glutathione peroxidase enzyme, the catalase enzyme, which are the most powerful antioxidant enzymes that you have within you. It's within you. It's not something that you're taking. So we are changing this concept that you need something from the outside that will help you heal yourself. At the end, with these products, what we're doing is just turning on, turning off genes to activate your natural defense immune system. And we have proven this in our in vivo clinical trials with the SOD activation by more than 25%, the glutathione activation by more than 37%, the catalase activation by more than 20%. So we have a lot of information, clinical trials, and all these in vivo tests that we have been doing around the product. But basically, to explain it in a very simple way, I'll show you this video.
This is Belage. It's your energy booster, inflammation fighter, and cellular defender. Start your day strong with one of these, a powerful morning ritual. Belage restores your body's natural antioxidant system and protects the mitochondria. Envision boundless energy, sharp focus, and revived vitality. With improved gut health and reduced inflammation, Belage is your secret weapon to slaying the day. This is Belage, where energy meets greatness.
The second product that we launched is Chronui. The two active ingredients from this are oxalic night reset and TOG, which is a compound made from green tea, polyphenols. So basically this product has extracts from black beans, olive, rosemary, and green tea leaves. And it helps reduce the absorption of sugars and carbs from foods, stimulates the natural process of thermogenesis, burning fat, and eliminating toxins, and aids to have a better sleep while reducing oxidation. These ingredients go specifically to the pancreas, which is really important for insulin resistance and for, well, insulin production. And we target, basically, with this product, the beta pancreas cells. So, as with the other product with Belage, the profile of the postbiotics, which with the combination of these two ingredients are more than 200 postbiotics, create the right quorum sensing, create the right epigenetic response in order for the product to work. In this video, we explain it better.
Ready to conquer your health and weight goals? Say hello to Chronowheat Fire. For those of us who crave the sweet things in life, but understand the toll it takes on our health, we created Chronowheat Fire. Just one pack each night helps reduce the absorption of excess sugar and carbs, improves microcirculation, and increases your metabolic rate. Packed with all natural ingredients, Chronowheat Fire reduces insulin resistance, revs up your metabolism, and promotes healthy weight loss. Ideal for the weight-conscious and better sleep seekers.
Then we launched Inner 7. This is a liquid. The two other products are powders that come in stick packs. And this one has postbiotics from marine plankton, magnesium from the ocean, and traces of other minerals. We went deep into the ocean, south of Okinawa, and we found a primary ocean there, and with very amazing properties that have these postbiotics that are being produced at 300 meters deep, with a lot of magnesium in that water, natural magnesium. So when we extract this water, we reduce the quantity of sodium chloride. We don't eliminate it, but we reduce it because it's very salty. The pH of this product is very alkaline, around 9.5, 10. And basically, the product provides essential minerals, mainly magnesium, supports you on having a balanced pH due to its alkalinity, regulates or helps to regulate the hormonal system, and promotes a regular and healthy digestion. This is the video.
When our body's balance is disrupted, it impacts and disrupts our entire well-being. That's where Inner 7 can help. It's not just a supplement, it's your daily dose of equilibrium. Packed with magnesium, plankton postbiotics, and over 60 essential minerals, Inner 7 is free from gluten, soy, dairy, and all artificial additives. Just pure, balanced well-being. Inner 7, perfect balance in every packet.
The fourth product that we launched is named Hasaki. The postbiotics from this product come from the cacao beans. The technology is named Bobia. And the primary benefits of this product are this product nourishes and promotes the diversity of the intestinal microbiota, improving the absorption of proteins by 20%. It serves as a complete and balanced meal. This was developed as a meal replacement. It's a powder as well that has other macronutrients like proteins, some fats and sugars, and helps maintain the lean muscle mass, which is super important for longevity for sarcopenia. We have not talked about that, but the loss of muscle mass is really important for your metabolism. When you're aging, that muscle mass starts dropping dramatically after 50. And that muscle is really important. The majority of the doctors don't care about it, or sometimes they don't even think about it. But the lean muscle mass is really important for keeping you alive, strong, and with a healthy metabolism. So this product helps and aids with that problem of aging. And here's the video.
Meet the next-gen superfood that fuels your body. With its all-natural ingredients, Hasaki is a nutrient-dense protein powder that enhances recovery, promotes lean muscle maintenance, and best of all, improves overall performance. Just 2 scoops a day provide your gut and muscles the nutrients needed to build and repair muscle, increase endurance, and support a healthy gut. Hasaki, your new daily workout BFF.
So how to take the products? Well, we have developed this Corona Wellness system because the epigenetics also changes throughout the day. So Balash and Inner 7 can be taken in the morning. As soon as you wake up, you can mix them together, the liquid with the powder with some water. You can have a breakfast with Hasaki, or you can even replace the whole breakfast. During the evening, Kronui with Inner 7 is awesome as well before you go to sleep. And if you have a heavy lunch, you can also have another dose of Kronui. We have studied the chronobiology of the body, and we have seen the impact of these postbiotics in the gene expression throughout the day. And that's how we have developed the different technologies, and that's how we recommend, and that's why we recommend to take the products in this way. So, why multivitamins don't work as expected, and what have we been working on, and why there's a difference? Well, we have found that synthetic versus natural absorption is quite important. The body doesn't allow to absorb synthetic vitamins usually because our foods come from different cofactors, enzymes, fibers, phytonutrients that aid in the absorption, which is missing in synthetic multivitamins. Also, the industry has had a one-size-fits-all approach. Most multivitamins contain a generic mix of nutrients, but individual nutrient needs vary depending on the age, the genetics, the diet, and the microbiome composition. And they don't have a microbiome impact. Multivitamins don't address the gut health, which is key for digestion, immunity, and metabolic function. Many vitamins require a healthy gut microbiome to be properly metabolized. So, the majority of the products today that are sold are multivitamins. The majority of the dietary supplements out there And the sales come from selling multivitamins that actually, in the majority of the cases, don't really work. Why targeting the microbiome is better? Well, the therapy of microbiome is personalized. Unlike multivitamins, the microbiome-based approaches can be customized based on the individual gut flora, leading to targeted health benefits. Microbiome dictates nutrient absorption. A well-balanced gut microbiome enhances the absorption of certain vitamins and minerals from foods. And certain bacteria can even synthesize vitamins. Actually, these bacteria are producing a lot of the substances that you actually need, like vitamins. Vitamin B12, K2, biotin, folate, among others. Postbiotics are bioactive and directly beneficial. It's like a shortcut. It's the byproduct of the probiotic. The postbiotics are like the egg of the chicken. You just need the egg, you don't need the chicken. I think that's pretty easy to understand. A living organism is difficult to handle. A chicken is difficult to handle. An egg is stable, can be stored on a fridge, and that's what a postbiotic is the end product of the probiotic. So these postbiotics produce probiotic metabolites produced by these probiotic bacteria include these short-chain fatty acids. A lot of the ingredients that we have in these postbiotics are short-chain fatty acids, like butyrate, enhance the gut barrier function. And they are more effective for immunity and metabolism. These metabolites regulate the energy levels, the brain function, and the skin health through their interaction with the gut-brain and gut-skin axis, which is also a matter of our research. We have been working a lot on this axis, the gut-brain and the gut-skin axis. So in conclusion, the body is like this grand orchestra that where every instrument plays a role. Genes, the metabolic pathways, the cellular functions, and they must play in perfect harmony. The gut microbiome acts as the maestro, expertly directing the performance. The postbiotics are the musical notes that fine-tune the immune responses, the energy production, and the brain function. You cannot expect a single vitamin to activate the entire orchestra. It's like expecting one instrument to play an entire symphony alone. True health requires a holistic, full-spectrum approach where all the elements work together, creating a masterpiece of well-being. So, these postbiotics are like these musical notes. The combination of the notes, it's the key for your longevity. And that's what we reverse engineered. That's what we worked on for more than 30 years. It's not only the molecule, the micronutrient, but the combination of all these hundreds, like musical notes, like in a symphony. Just the musical note alone doesn't work. You need to combine them in the right way to have the perfect symphony, the perfect harmony for your body. And that's how these products work. Combining these musical notes in the right way and creating the right epigenetic response. It's a pretty difficult science. Our gut is pretty dynamic. All these bugs, hundreds of bugs, microorganisms that we have inside us are really doing an amazing job if they are balanced, if they are tuned, if they are in harmony. And these products are basically doing that for you. And that's what we have developed during all these 30 years of work and research. And that's why I'm here, because Alistair started trying the products in his patients. the testimonials immediately appeared, and he has become a pioneer in the distribution of all this technology into Europe through the UK. I think there's a huge opportunity in the postbiotics category. More postbiotics will start being released into the market, and we want to be the first movers. And I would like to thank Alistair for his hard work, for believing, and for organizing this amazing event. Let's give him a big round of applause. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so a couple of points. The first thing is we do have the Sanki product here. Obviously, it's outside, and you can purchase all three of them as a pack. If you would like to know more, please go to sanki.uk, which is our website. And for those that would like to get hold of Brian's notes that he's been talking about, this coming week, we will put them on our website, a link on our website, and you'll be able to download them. So please do not write in saying, can I get emailed them? We will do a link, and you just download them from there. Apart from that, let's get to lunch. Thank you very much indeed.